I'm not going to faff about. This is about Criterion. I need to get something off my chest because not only has it been invading my day-to-day thinking, but it's also been invading my dreams. So, Criterion Spine 1000. What's it going to be? I'm not going to lie. I like this movie distribution library. I really like them. They have been releasing probably the best versions of most movies out there
since 1984.
Criterion has become a synecdoche for great releases of movies. So it's not just Criterion doing all of this. It's the BFI, it's Arrow Video, it's Arrow Academy, it's Eureka Masters of Cinema, it's Shout Factory, I think. It's Second Sight, it's Indicator, it's
Network.
Kino Lorber, Dogwoof. I can't forget Dogwoof. They're great with their releases, regardless of whether they distribute the movies themselves or not in theaters. But their home media releases have been pretty great on their own as well. But anywho, let's move on to the topic at hand. Spine number 1000. Oh wait, no. I should talk about my own personal affinity with it. I can see on my right here my Blu-rays of the movies on anything, including Criterion. So there's Eureka as well in there. Arrow Academy. Good stuff. Great stuff. And back there on this shelf with the mirror, those are where my DVDs are, including a bunch of Criterion DVDs. And there's plenty more back in the UK with my girlfriend. That is a big number, Spine 1000. When they had their 900th release, they had the biggest Blu-ray release they ever had, which is a 32-disc compilation of Olympic films. It's so fascinating, if just for documentarians, but also for sports enthusiasts. 500 was Roberto Rossellini's War Trilogy. Spine 100 was also quite celebratory. They got the Beastie Boys Anthology on DVD on 2 discs, and it's chock filled with special features. What if they push back Spine 1000 so far? They did that once before with Grand Illusion. That was because they found the original long lost camera negatives instead of transferring them from a Laserdisc onto DVD, which presumably would look like ass considering what kind of Laserdisc releases they were doing back in the day. They did the smart move by delaying it so they could restore the film, gather extra anythings, and lo and behold, the movie looks great, especially for a DVD in 1999. It's just really interesting considering that they would actually take the time to dedicate their better edition at least. 11 days from now, when filming this, it will be announced, and all of my interior meddlings in my head will finally be put to rest at long last. I have joked about this in the past. I've joked saying that Who Killed Captain Alex should be Spine 1000, but another company has released that with Bad Black. So Wakaliwood already has a distributor of those 2 films on Blu-ray in the States. Great. But for now, my dreams. I have 2 dreams about Spine 1000. Spine 1000 in my first dream was a very interesting one. It was the complete Lenny Bruce. Back in the 50s and 60s, it would just be not completely filmed stand-up specials, and they were filmed on film. It wouldn't be as common. So I'm not sure about Lenny Bruce. He was one of the earlier edgelord comedians back in the 50s and 60s. The box was as big as Bergman's Cinema, but slightly wider to house LPs. So Criterion Records did come in to incorporate that part of its dream. And another dream I had, it was me getting a gift as a sort of compensation for this person's flaky attitude, which makes no sense. They gifted me Spine 1000, which was a screw-shaped box housing a compilation of Holocaust films. The discs were housed in the screw part, the drill bit, and a book that was in the shape of a screw would be housed on top of it. So that was interesting to think about. And then I beat the shit out of them with it. First off, not the type of person to do that. And the lid kept falling off. The lid kept falling off the saran wrapped box. Okay. Whatever. I want to talk about other people's predictions as well now. There's a bunch I heard on this podcast. The complete Orson Welles, which would be all of Orson Welles' written and directed films. What would even make more perfect sense was that if the final film of Orson Welles' elongated career was Spine 1000, if it was The Other Side of the Wind, the 1000th Blu-ray DVD release, to go full circle on Orson Welles' Citizen Kane being the first Laserdisc that Criterion ever released, period. But knowing Criterion, they might go a little bit all out by releasing this box set, announcing it as Spine 1000, delaying it, of course, by a few months. And it would come with some documentaries like Eyes of Orson Welles by Mark Cousins, You'll Love Me When I'm Dead, arguably the companion piece to Other Side of the Wind. What if they also released the Don Quixote movie that Orson Welles was just using as an experiment to practice his filmmaking skills? What if they did that? That would be hilarious. These guys on this podcast would predict 1,000 is equal to grand. Grand Hotel, Grand Budapest Hotel, Grand Theft Auto.
I'm not a light switch, you know.
What my own original predictions are, besides the one I just mentioned about The Other Side of the Wind being 1,000, was that they'd skip it. They'd fully just not do it at all, and it would be hilarious and a complete arsake at the same time. Because while Criterion are always so numerically tongue-in-cheek with their Spine releases, they have been in the past. So Spine number 984 is 1984. It was almost Spine 986 until they realized they were missing a joke and they had to take the opportunity by storm. 666, The Devil's Backbone. 777 was The Brood, although 777 is the number of angels? At least that's what I remember from Hot Fuzz.
I'm not a light switch, you know.
When this is all over, it's gonna be over and out of my head, and it's just gonna stop bugging me, because every 15th or 17th or 18th or 16th, depending on what the plans of the weekend are in the States, I would always be just plagued with, what are they going to release this month? What are they going to put out? What are they going to do? And sometimes those releases would suck. Sometimes those releases would blow me away. Sometimes their Blu-ray upgrades will be very well needed. When Do the Right Thing finally happened, I was over the moon. It wasn't just that second wave of love that would give Do the Right Thing its love, but it's always been loved. What am I saying? Whatever.